Well, hello everyone. Thank you very much for joining us today. My name is Sumit Swami, along with Kara Mukom as my co-host, and we both are liaison and recruitment officers here at Northern College. And welcome to our third episode of Navigating Northern. Third episode. It's been 3 weeks we are doing this. We're getting better and better at this. I still remember we were nervous on the first one. Now it's getting a little bit easier, right, Kara? It's getting
Definitely.
better. And this week's topic today is confidence in attending college, COVID-19 and Northern College. So we will be discussing about online class structure. We'll also discuss about what programs are online, what programs are turned into hybrid, and what classes are still going to be in class, and much, much more. So this will be a very good informative session for you guys to know how the future will look like. Again, for hosting purposes, this webinar doesn't have any video or audio options for the viewers, but you can still put in your suggestions, your questions, your ideas in the chat box. If you select panelist, then it will only come to us. But if you have any ideas that you want to discuss to all of us, you can select everyone, and it will come to everyone who are online today. In order to avoid repetition, Kara will be sorting all the questions so that we can answer all the questions together, and there's just not repetition of the same question coming up again and again. Let's start with doing a roundtable introduction where we introduce ourselves. So we say our name, what position we work at Northern College, what we do in that position, and how the students or the online attendees attending today can get benefited from you. Let's start from you, Kara.
Sure. First off, I want to say hi, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us across the world. And we're so happy to have you in our third session. So my name is Kara Mukom, and I am a liaison recruitment officer, as Sumit said. But I focus on the Southern Ontario region. So if you're living anywhere below Huntsville area, I would be your go-to person. I may be at your high school, at a community event, maybe even at the library. I go all over and try and share some information about Northern College and answer any questions that you may have. So hi, thank you everyone.
And I do the same work, but the only difference is that if you're north of Huntsville, then you talk to me. We travel a lot. Sometimes we travel together. It's a lot of fun, but not every time it works out. Sometimes she's on the other part of Ontario. I'm on the other part of Ontario. We always drive. We always give information. It's so much fun. I pretty much have seen everything in Ontario pretty much at this point. I have two cycles and I can say I have seen everything. To be very honest, I haven't explored India, where I come from, that good since the job. So it's very exciting. It's so much fun to be a part of this. Let's start with Aaron, what you do at the college and what is your part of the job here?
Sure. So first of all, welcome everybody. It's nice to be able to at least answer some questions today. I'm sure everybody has some things they're wanting to ask as they're gearing up for fall. So my name is Aaron Klooster. I'm the Dean of Trades and Technology here at Northern. Like someone said, there's a number of things that all of the deans do, and specifically for my area, I end up I guess at the end of the day, I'm kind of responsible for these program areas and anything that's in the technology or trades or apprenticeship here at the college. And so, you know, direct interaction with students might not happen on a day-to-day basis, but certainly we encourage open doors here. And I know I've had over the last 4 or 5 years in this role here, I've gotten to know quite a few of the students quite well as time has gone on. So looking forward to answering some questions and being of help today.
And how about you, Doug?
I'm the Dean of Sciences at Northern College, and as such, I'm responsible for our School of Veterinary Sciences, which has 5 programs. I just get into those a little later. And I also have a law clerk, distance delivery program, and as well an environmental technician, water, wastewater systems operations programs. So I'm primarily at our Haileybury and Kirkland Lake campuses, sometimes at our largest Timmins campus.
And how about you, Dean?
I'd like to take this opportunity to welcome everybody. My name is Dean Lassard. I'm the Dean for the Schools of Business and Community Services. That's Dean the Dean. I think Doug and Aaron have done a great job of kind of capturing what it's like to be and what our jobs are here at Northern College. I guess I'll just take it a little bit further and say that we're a smaller institution, and I think that that's the benefit of our students. we're able to provide a level of service and contact that I think is pretty unprecedented around the province. While Aaron noted we don't have maybe day-to-day contact with our students, we are available, and we're certainly here to help you. And our focus is your success as you move through our program areas. So I look forward to meeting you virtually, if not in person, maybe down the line, but it's a pleasure to spend an hour with you here today.
And before I kind of turn down the mic to Dr. Audrey Penner, I have something to say. She was the vice president of our academics, and then after all that successful ventures that she did, she is now promoted to the president of the college. So congratulations is in hand right now, because she did an amazing job for the years coming in. And we are very excited to see her as in president, because we know that she has kind of compiled a lot of new ventures, and she's not afraid of taking risks and everything. And we think that this will take us to the new venture. So Dr. Audrey Penner, now I just had to introduce.
Thank you very much for that kind introduction, Sumit. I really appreciate it. And thank you everyone that joined. We're really excited to talk to you today. And I apologize that I don't have a banner behind me. Apparently I was not on top of things to get one, but if you'll notice that our motto is study, stay, play, and you can't do any better than that at any college that you could pick in Ontario. Wonderful clean air, beautiful scenery, lakes everywhere. It's absolutely gorgeous here where our catchment area is. My role at the college, is, as Sumit alluded to, is now president and CEO for the college. So I've been in it officially 2 days. So hopefully I won't break anything. But today what I'm also doing is I'm also pinch hitting for our Dean, Sarah Campbell, who's the Dean of Health Sciences and Community Services. Sarah is on vacation right now, so I'll be responding to the programs that are under her area. I won't do it anywhere near as well as she could, but I will try my best. So my role overall at the college now is to make sure this works. And I also want to say that in this new COVID era, with all that we're doing with video conferencing and webinars, that type of thing, Northern College was actually doing that 15, 20 years ago. We've been at this for a very long time and have a lot of experience with it, because we cover vast regions of the province. We have an area the size of about France, and we service the population in that region. So you're talking to people who have a lot of experience in how to make this kind of distance learning a really, really wonderful experience. So back over to you, Sumit.
Thank you. So what we'll do today is we have some of the set of questions that we experience, Karen and I, during our travels, when we're doing presentations, when we are talking to students. So we have some questions that we will ask. What I'll do is I'll ask a question and all the deans can answer it simultaneously as it comes. And then that way we will have a proper channel of questions and answers going through, and students can also get the information that they're looking for. So as in first question to all of the deans, it would be, could you tell us a little bit more about the programs within your academic area and what campuses they are available at? Are there any options? If that campus is not there, then they can do online or not, and around those lines. So let's start from you, Aaron.
Sure. Yeah, sure. So I have, under the Tech and Trades, I actually oversee programs at 3 of the 4 campuses of Northern College. So I'll actually start at the Timmins campus, and that's our largest campus by a good stretch there. And it's also where most of my programs reside at this point in time. So for those of you coming into trades programming in motive power, so motive power automotive or motive power heavy equipment, I oversee those programs. Also all of the engineering, technician, and technology programs. So that would be our mechanical engineering, electrical engineering, computer engineering, including mobile applications development, mining engineering, and the related mineral exploration techniques programs as well. And those are, in some situations, they're both 2- and 3-year programs, depending on what the plans are for people coming in. If we just move a little bit south over to Kirkland Lake, I actually oversee the School of Welding Engineering Technology as well. And so there's the welding engineering technician and technology programs, including the co-op options there. We also have the mechanical technician welder fitter. I also, I don't know if I neglected to mention the millwright program in Timmins as well. So those of you who are coming into millwrighting, don't forget about that one. And then in Haileybury, that is the home of our Haileybury School of Mines, which is a centuries-old mining school, one of the oldest mining institutions in Canada. And we oversee there the instrumentation and control engineering technician program, as well as the mining engineering technician program running out of Haileybury. I don't know, Sumit, if you want me to answer now about, what the plans are for, COVID-related changes that might occur for the fall, or do we want to do the introductions of schools of study and then maybe come back around to that?
Yes, and we'll go back to the question again, because that seems to be the most important question for the webinar. So what we'll do is we have kept it in the middle so that all you deans can answer it individually and say, these are the programs that have been moved online. So talking about Haileybury campus, I've been to Haileybury campus. It's one of the most beautiful campus. I've also seen the Haileybury School of Mine, and I thought about Haileybury, and then I thought about you, Doug. So let's go with you. What programs you offer and what campuses they are available at.
Okay, I presume you're referring to the beauty of the Haileybury campus coming from the natural scenery and not from me.
Both.
Yeah, well, I fished for that, didn't I? So at the Haileybury campus, we have a School of Veterinary Sciences, which has 5 different programs. 2 of them are unique in Canada, one's unique in Ontario. Probably the largest single program is the Veterinary Technician, which is a 2-year Ontario College diploma. We also offer a 1-year animal grooming certificate, as well as a veterinary assistant program. And then there's 2 programs that are unique in Canada. Once students have their veterinary technician 2-year diploma, they can go on and take a 3rd year specializing in either wildlife rehabilitation, or we also have a 3rd year program in companion animal physical rehabilitation, which is kind of like physical rehabilitation for the furry family members. Also homed out of the Haileybury campus, I'm responsible for our law clerk program, which is taught entirely by distance webinar. We've been teaching it that way for 15 years now. It's a very well-run, successful program, and our graduates work for anywhere from small towns into the Toronto Bay Street big law firms. Then an hour north from here is our Kirkland Lake campus, and I'm responsible for an environmental technician, water and wastewater systems operations management course, which provides an option for people to become qualified and licensed by the Ministry of the Environment in Ontario. It's a heavily regulated line of work for public safety reasons, and we have the fastest path to become a qualified operator in Ontario.
Thank you, Doug. Let's go towards Dean, if you can talk about a little bit about programs that are being offered, what campuses.
Sure, Sumit. So I've organized it a bit differently just because a lot of our programs in the schools of business and community services are offered across a variety of campuses at a variety of semester starts, quite flexible. So I'm going to start with the School of Business, and we have 2 1-year certificate programs that we run. One is Business Fundamentals, which is a common first year for all of our 2-year business diploma programs. It's offered on all 4 of our campuses, Timmins, Kirkland Lake, Haileybury, Moosonee. It's also offered on our distance platform through Contact North. Our second 1-year certificate in the School of Business is Office Administration. Again, it's offered in the same campuses, Timmins, Kirkland Lake, Haileybury, Moosonee, as well as online via Contact North. Our 2-year diploma programs, that's Business General, Business Accounting, and Office Administration, are again all offered off of all of our campuses and online through Contact North. Our Business Marketing program is on Timmins campus, Kirkland Lake campus, again online. And our brand new program, which is unique to the province and I think pretty unique to the country, is our Global Business Entrepreneurship and Technology, which ties 3, I believe, cutting edge business areas together. And this 2-year diploma program is offered in Timmins and Contact North, through Contact North. Our grad certs in the School of Business are Global Business, Entrepreneurship, and Technology. So that program is offered as both a 2-year diploma and a 1-year grad cert to both domestic and international students on our Timmins campus and through Contact North. We have Information Systems Business Analysis, which is a 1-year grad cert. It's available just for our international students on the Timmins campus. And we have our Supply Chain Management, which we're debuting this fall. It is a 2-year grad cert, and it's offered off of the Timmins campus. For 2021, and I'll throw this out as a teaser for our group, Business HR will be offered, and this will be a 2-year diploma program, and again will be offered on all of our campuses as well as through Contact North. In the School of Community Services, we have 2 1-year certificate programs, both under the umbrella of General Arts and Science, and it's General Arts and Science offered at Timmins, Kirkland Lake, and Haileybury. And we also have developed a very unique program that's General Arts and Science with an ESL focus, and this will be offered off of our Timmins campus. Our 2-year diplomas are Early Childhood Educator. It's offered in Timmins, Kirkland Lake, and in Moosonee every 2nd year. And our Social Service Worker program, which is one of our largest programs at Northern College. It is also offered in Timmins, Kirkland Lake, Haileybury, and through Contact North. The teasers for the School of Community Services is that for 2020-21, we'll have our Addictions and Mental Health Worker program, which is a 2-year diploma program. It'll be offered on all of our campuses and online, and also our Community Integration through Cooperative Education 2-year certificate program, which will be offered in Timmins. So that's a slate of courses in my portfolio areas.
So I'm also a business graduate, so is Kara too, right? But sometimes I feel like I should have got into trades, and maybe I would be in Team Aaron someday. Because when I came here, everything was completely different. I thought I should be in trades. But I loved when I was in as a business graduate. I learned so many things about it. Kind of dives into your regular life too, right? Money management and all that stuff. And it really helped me as an international student when I was here. Talking about that, I'll go a little bit towards Dr. Audrey Penner to talk about a little bit of programs that Sarah offers, so that the students who are already registered with nursing and healthcare programs, they can also know a little bit more about that.
So thank you very much for that, Sumit. And I realized I misspoke when I introduced, I called it Health Sciences and Community Services. I was usurping Dean's role. Dean, I'm sorry about that. Actually, that used to be a department. It's Health Sciences and Emergency Services. So my apologies for that. Let me start with the emergency services. We have an integrated emergency services complex, which has now been in operation for over a year. It is a dedicated facility to paramedic, policing, and also to firefighting. This is a state-of-the-art facility. It is also delivered in conjunction with our municipal partners. So the students actually work side by side with people that are in the fields, literally side by side. So it's a wonderful integration of work along with learning. That is offered on the Timmins campus simply because of the equipment feature and the building itself, the dedication. It's exclusive to the Timmins campus. In the health sciences, we also have a Bachelor of Science nursing program, which we offer collaboratively with the Florentian University. And we have a practical nursing program, we have a medical lab program, and we have a personal support worker program. The personal support worker program is offered at all of our campuses at a variety of times and a variety of intakes. Our practical nursing program is offered at our Kirkland Lake and Haileybury campus, but not necessarily every year. And we periodically offer the practical nursing and the paramedic programs in the Moosonee campus, but that depends on demand. And we are looking at a pilot program up there that will be very much work integrated with the community. So that's a really brief overview just to get things started in the conversation.
For sure. So this would be, the next question is kind of the most important questions, and it will kind of answer most of the answers that all the students have over here. And Audrey, kind of jump in if you have any information that you want to share in, but this will be for all the deans too. And the question is, how has COVID-19 affected your programs in regards to delivery? Will they be online or mix or in class? And that is kind of the most important question that every student is trying to get into it, because pretty much the future is kind of unknown right now. And we have so many things going on where we are trying to go to a college, we're starting a new venture in the life, we're already nervous, and then this online option also added to it. So if you can talk a little bit more about it, it would be very helpful for our viewers to know how the future will look like and how we are accommodating that. So let's start from you as usual, Erin, and let's go with the trade program.
Sure. Yeah, no, and of course we understand, and I've been following the comments that are coming in the chat as we've all been speaking, and I understand there's a lot of questions about travel and the relationship of travel to what the method of instruction will be, and so hopefully we'll answer some of that right now. For the tech and trades program areas, aside from the mining engineering program and aside from computer engineering, okay, so those two programs, mining engineering and computer engineering, will actually be delivered online in the fall. Okay, now I'm only talking about fall right now. Winter, it's an entirely different matter. For winter, computer engineering would revert back to a face-to-face delivery, at least in a hybrid sense. There are components that can be done online, but then there are real components that must be done face-to-face at that point as well. The same can be said about the vast majority of programs in my stable. In fact, all of them outside of mining and computer engineering for fall will have some face-to-face instruction. It's in a tech and trades environment where we're preparing people for vocational positions in industry where they need to be competent on the tools, and that's an expression that we use that really means that they have to use the same material and the same tools that someone working in that industry would be using when they start their careers. There really is no way to do that online. Like, we haven't found a way to do that successfully online in its entirety. Now, theory, courses that require some theory, those portions will be online. That we can definitely do, and we've had tremendous experience doing that. But there are components, across the board here that at some point in time we would have to have students on the tools, in the shops, in our labs, working with the content experts, the professors, and the faculty that we have here. So I hope that answers that question in a general sense. I would not want to go through each program area individually, because I think the answer would be the same for most of them. But specifically, the exceptions there, computer engineering in the fall would start out as an online delivery, reverting in winter to a face-to-face. Mining engineering, you don't need to be on site for mining engineering until around May in this case, May of 2021, where you would have your field school components, your 2-week field school components. But everything else for that program would be online. So I hope that answers a lot of the questions that were coming through if you're coming in from one of those areas. I know there was a specific question about people coming back for second and third year. The same is true for second and third year students returning to studies for semesters 3 or 5. Those students can expect in almost all of the program areas in tech and trades to have some on-site instruction that's going to be required. And we have no way around that, really, right? There is no way for us to augment that in an online way that affords us any sort of measurable or comparable quality, I guess, to what we're used to offering. But theory, again, theory would be in an online fashion, okay? So I hope that answers some of that, and I'll leave it back to you there, Sumit.
It does make sense, because those programs are very hands-on, and you have to feel and touch, and you have to do things in order to learn it much better. It's not something where you have a problem in math and you can do it just by home too. You have to go through it. So it does make sense that most of the programs will be in class, and students will be allowed to come in and to kind of do that work so that they become the pioneers and then come in.
Now, it behooves me to mention, though, that of course there are restrictions to what we're able to do on site, and we haven't really mentioned that yet. But we are under, in both health units that cover our campus areas, we're under mask mandates. So face coverings are required at all times in the campus, during class, and in the common areas. And we'll adhere to that. Social distancing is challenging to do in the lab environments, given the nature of the work we're doing. So I mean, we want to make sure it's not, you know, we're not conveying the message here that come here, it's business as usual. It really isn't. I mean, we really have to take into account this idea that we're working our hardest here to, you know, to get to the other side of this pandemic as best we can and as unscathed as we can. And that's a responsibility we all have to bear, and students are part of that discussion. So everyone who is coming on site is going to be sort of held to that standard as well too. So we want to make sure that that's mentioned.
That's true. So they will be following the mandates of social distancing and every possible procedures that are in place to follow them, and then do the classes, not just kind of as in regular class.
Absolutely. And important to recognize as well that this is a fluid situation. It's dynamic, it's changing. So we're telling you today, social distancing and face coverings, but that restriction might become a little bit more strict down the road if it happens to go the wrong way. So we have to make sure that, you know, that we're all working towards a common goal with this, and that, you know, we have a responsibility for the common good here. And I hope everybody understands that, and that we'll all kind of work together in September when studies start up again.
Yes, that's true. So Doug, how are things looking at Haileybury campus and the programs that you kind of supervise? Would they be online, or they would have the same kind of scenario as Erin's programs?
Okay, I'll try to address my Haileybury campus situation, but also some of the comments coming up on the webinar chat here. So in general, I guess Northern College, including my programs, has taken the route with courses that are, or programs that are primarily face-to-face. For this fall, wherever possible, we are teaching by distance. And the plan, the assumption is that come the winter time, winter semester, we will be able to switch back to face-to-face delivery. So in my School of Veterinary Sciences, for instance, we've made a major change to the way that the courses are taught, what is taught in the fall versus the winter. We've taken all the theory content from fall and winter and packaged it up for the fall courses. And then in the winter time, then there's going to be a much heavier emphasis on the hands-on and practical skills. And in some cases, we've extended the program a little further, even to make sure that when the students finish in the springtime, they will have covered everything that they would normally have covered in their academic year, but it's just the order in which the contents is covered has been switched around. I see some of the students have put questions up, you know, in particular students from India concerned about internet connectivity and what happens if they're in an area with spotty or erratic internet connectivity. I believe the faculty teams are working using webinar platforms which allow material to be pre-recorded, in many cases to be viewed even before class, and then the class time may be used for interactive discussions. They can also use online forums and email to interact with the students. But for those, and recognizing the great time difference as well, you know, an anytime playback opportunity, you know, is a way to help offset situations where there's internet connectivity problems. I know even in Ontario and Canada, there are some parts where there's poor internet, and we saw in the springtime as Ontario moved to emergency distance teaching, there were some students that attended or participated or completed their year by, say, driving to a spot where there was internet connectivity outside of a library or whatever, in order to listen to a lecture or to submit, upload a submission. There were questions coming in asking about computers, and yes, it really will. Northern is a bring your own device environment, which is, we assume that students have a laptop, and even for programs and courses when they are running in a face-to-face delivery at our college, we use a learning management system to contain a lot of the course materials and to govern a lot of the interactions back and forth. So it really having a good laptop is one of the best investments or requirements to be successful in your education.
So pretty much what you did is that, let's say in semester third or semester second, there is one theory part that has been all kind of stretched out to the first semester, where they'll do all the theories together and all the practicals have been stretched out at the back or the later part of the education, where they can, or they might have an option to come in person and do that practical parts later. And that's what happened to the veterinary sciences programs, right?
That's correct, yes.
All right. So even with international students, we also had the same question last time too, where they said that they do have concerns with internet connectivity and there are problems. And I know, been there, done that. I was in India for 20 years of my life initially. And I still remember a YouTube video used to take a lot of time to buffer out. But what happens is that the programs are designed in such a way that you don't need that kind of high density internet at a time. It will be all pre-recorded, so you can do it at your convenience. You can download it, you can go through the program and do it. Now, let's say there would be problems and situations, you know, as Murphy's laws, when something has to go wrong, it will go wrong, and it might go wrong and you won't be able to maybe put up your assignments within the time, or there would be internet connectivity problems and things like that. That would be something that will be understandable, because as a college, we know that this is a type of a delivery that we are doing that we haven't done regularly for a very long time. And we do have a lot of online classes going on too. So we know the problems with low internet connectivity problems and the other challenges that comes with an online delivery option. But there will be always an understanding between the college and the students. So you don't have to worry about that part too high. You can do with the best ability that you can. You study hard, you learn as much as you can, so that when you come here, when everything has been allowed, you're actually just going through the program afterwards and not catching up on anything. So coming back to that point, Dean, how are your programs with perspective of online delivery? Are they going to change? Are there any major changes like Doug's program has been done, or it is going to be same as usual? And how does the class look like in the future?
So for all fall 2020 semester courses in the schools of business and community services, and I listed those in my previous comment, they'll be delivered online in a virtual classroom setting during weekly scheduled times, depending on how frequently you're going to meet during the week. And as Sumit has mentioned, that they will be recorded, so they can be accessed at another time if, let's say, your connectivity at a certain point in the day is not as good as it may be at another time. So most programs in our school, and this is where the uniqueness, I guess, of the School of Business and Community Services, that in these schools, we've already offered to cohorts of students in the past this format. So classes taught in this format. So this upcoming semester should run relatively smoothly and effectively, as this is a kind of a normal delivery model for our faculty, because a number of our students in these two schools access our programs from a distance. Having said that, we're obviously very sensitive to the difficulties and challenges that COVID-19 presents. You know, and I guess my comment just watching some of the students, and I can see I have two daughters, and they're both in post-secondary. I am going through the same types of questions and with those institutions as you folks have with us. And it really is a balancing act. And we're balancing the best possible program delivery for our students. And I don't think that any of us will say that that's been compromised. I think that anybody completing their program of study or starting their program of study is going to see that the quality of the instruction they're going to receive is at a level that's unmatched. But like I said, we are sensitive to the fact that it's going to be a little bit different than a face-to-face delivery, and there's some anxiety that comes with that. As a college, we have a responsibility to balance this delivery of great programming with maintaining the health and safety of our students and also of our faculty. So these are some of the things that we're not here to put up barriers. We're here to help students take those down so that you're feeling comfortable moving forward in the fall semester. But having said that, we do have some responsibilities that to our local public health organizations, as noted by Aaron, and in making sure that everybody is healthy, safe during this time as they move forward with their studies. So I guess our biggest change in our program that's for the fall is that there will be no face-to-face delivery of any of our programs. So they will all be delivered from a distance. And that will be until there's changes or support from our provincial government and our public health organizations to indicate to us that we can move to a face-to-face delivery. We're hoping that that could happen by the winter of 2021. And we're crossing our fingers that we're able to do that, but that's essentially the position we're in as a school business and community services.
Thank you, Dean. So let's go back to Audrey, because you were going to talk about the nursing program. And I think nursing program is kind of as same as hands-on as Erin's program. Does it have the same kind of nature as Erin's program where you do online or it's in class? I think you have to.
Yes, I have to unmute. Thank you.
That's the nature of the webinar because it just kind of unmutes everybody.
Yeah. So the nursing program does have significant laboratory and hands-on component as well as practical practice within our community health facilities such as our local hospitals. So there is that component. Now the faculty have done a miraculous job of adjusting schedules, etc., so that we can bring forward more of the theory into the front end, similar to what Doug talked about with the Veterinary Sciences program, not identical, because the situations are a little bit different, and as much as they can doing it in that manner. Now, having said that, we are doing a pilot program right now with some of Erin's programs to see how we can manage being on site for those physical, practical components, and we'll be gauging that to help us in how we apply it to other programs. So with the idea to integrating as much face-to-face as we can, where we can. But when we are bringing people on for those kinds of activities, there's social distancing of 6 feet. We're using masks, as Erin already talked about, as soon as they walk in the building, stay with masks, and frequent hand washing, hand sanitizers, etc., everywhere. So for the nursing programs, for sure, the PSW has a little bit more flexibility to it in terms of theory, and there are some good components we can do in online there. And then some practical components to follow. And the emergency services, it really, our faculty have been so innovative in how they have approached this. One of the core courses in our emergency services program is physical education and physical well-being, because they have to be able to lift stretchers if they're a paramedic. They have to be able to lug hoses if they're a fireman. They have to be able to run and really be agile if they're in the police foundation program. So our instructor for that, our faculty person in charge of that, is going to go completely online with that and have video interaction so that you can exercise with her. And she can be gauging how you're doing. So it's practical, but it's at a distance. So that's just one example of how creative our faculty have been. And I think that's one of the hallmarks of Northern College, is that we do have very innovative, very creative faculty, staff, and administrators here.
Mm-hmm. Because I know that from the fact, for my experience at Northern College for almost 4 years now, because people think the classes will go online and it will just become boring. There is someone just talking and we just listen for it hours and then prepare assignments and we submit it. And the experience that you get by coming into a college has been lost somewhere in that transition. But I know that we have created the content in such a way that it's very interactive. You will still have the same fun that you are having, just you will be not here in physical format. But again, you'll make the same friends that you would if you're coming here in person. You will have the same kind of interaction. You'll know the faculties that way. There will be incidents where you'll know a lot more as you will do in the same format if it would be a regular, where COVID-19 has changed everything. But however, at Northern, we know that we try to make it so interactive that it won't take anything from you. The experience will still remain the same. And that's something that I know and I'm very proud about, because we work really hard on that. So let's bring it to the last question for the deans, because we were talking about the delivery system has been changed. There are hybrid options. Some of the courses have been taken in the front in order to accommodate COVID-19 pandemic situations and to kind of, make sure that the education still is delivered. So the question comes into mind, because I would always have that option, because I'm very bad in filling up a form or or, you know, going through sets of rules because I need somebody to tell me this is exactly how it's been done. It's always very, very confusing. So when it comes to that part, what kind of supports and services are in place for the students to assist them depending on the mode of delivery? So let's say if it's online, would there be IT services, or would there be access to faculties, or would there be student services who will be always there to help them if something goes wrong or if they're not able to get through? How are those services looking like? Let's start with you, Aaron, because I like this format where we have Aaron and then we have Doug and then Dean and Audrey. So let's go with the same format as usual. So let's go with.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think I'll speak to IT services or anything like that, but I can certainly, from an academic perspective, you know, answer the question from the perspective of, you know, what will the faculty do for our students when the time comes? And what I can honestly say is I believe that access to faculty will remain at minimum as they will remain as accessible as they always were. And in fact, it's more likely that with the online tools that we're employing, they may even be more accessible as you know, as opposed to less accessible. And I think, you know, there's this concept here that as we're working through you know, the challenges that you know, COVID-19 has presented with us, we're very sensitive to this concept here, this idea that students are going to need more support for this upcoming semester, this upcoming year. And I can tell you right now, I know our faculty are sensitive to this, are aware of this. And I have a feeling, you know, if the winter semester, the way we finished up the previous academic year, and, you know, if what we're seeing during the pilot program now, which is, you know, just over a week and a half old now, if that's any indication, you know, the faculty, I have no doubt, will go above and beyond, as they often do, to help our students to, you know, make sure that the content is understood and to guide them, you know, with their expert advice and whatnot. So I really think that there will still be a really good two-way communication and a really good ability to discuss questions and get the answers we need, and to still have fulsome sort of discussions and conversations about content in the class. It's just going to look a little different. In some sense, it might be, you know, it might be in class for some of my programs or Sarah's programs, or even Doug's programs. But I think in the online version, it's just going to be a different format. There's going to be a different platform. And, you know, I'm just speaking from a bit of experience over what we've learned with this. You get used to it a little bit. The video conference becomes a platform that you do get used to. You know, I understand there could be challenges with technology, challenges with infrastructure, but barring those major infrastructure issues that the college really can't, you know, control. Like we can't get better internet for you in India, unfortunately, but outside of that, you do get used to this environment. And I think it can be actually very, it can be very good. I mean, it's actually proved to be a very good environment in the last little while. So I hope that answers it just from the academic perspective. I'll let someone else answer from the IT sort of background, but we'll pass it back to you.
So Doug, what do you have? Do you have any same kind of concept as Aaron does, where the faculties are more accessible? If they have any questions, they can reach out at any given time within the frame that has been given to them for the students?
Well, I think in general, one of the great strengths of Northern College is that we are not a large machine. You know, the students get to know their professors on an individual basis, whether they are attending at a campus and seeing the professor, or they are students that have been taking programs by distance. And we have been running programs in, say, Dean's School of Business, my law clerk program, for many years by distance. And so there's connection. Actually, I once heard a valedictorian speak at Timmins from a group of young, on behalf of the social service work students. And she talked about how she had formed lifetime friendships going through that program. She didn't know her classmates in a face-to-face way, but they had supported each other through the 2 years of their program and through many life events where they had supported them through. One student had the birth of a child, another had a death of a partner, etc. you know, the distance learning is a just different experience in the sense that true learning happens through interactions with your professor, with your course material, but also with your peers. And a number of the courses for distance delivery are geared in a way that the students are working with their peers on assignments or projects or things. But in terms of supporting students at a distance, I mean, we have been doing this for many years. We have support staff who act as advisors, who act as liaisons, who will work to kind of troubleshoot when there's a problem or a question that a student has. If that person doesn't have an answer, then they will seek out whoever they need to find in the college in order to provide an answer. So whether that's the technology issues, or maybe it's a life advice situation, someone is dealing with an overwhelming amount of anxiety, perhaps about different academic expectations and or their life situation outside of school. Our professors are humans. You know, some of them are juggling things like children at home and teaching. We are recognizing these are very unusual times, and they require some understanding and you know, one-to-one student support.
Thank you, Doug. And that's the point too, because we are a small college. The best part that we have is the personalization that we provide to our students. We have seen students being extremely good friends with professors. We have examples where students and professors have started a business together. So those are the things that we have over here at Northern College. Small community, but a very big heart. And I guess from the answers that you guys are giving is the same way, where it will change the format. However, the delivery of that personalization that we have will still remain the same, and it will be always there where a student can always ask a question to the faculties and get the answers from. So Dean, would that be the same kind of situation with you too?
Absolutely. I mean, I'd echo that that faculty in the School of Business and Community Services will be accessible, if not more than in the past, because we realize that's a bridge that needs to be spanned to ensure that our students are getting a high quality learning experience. I'll just step back a little bit to your other comment, Sumit, too, about the classroom. It is organized differently, and it's not to get into technical terms, but I know with our group, we're looking at what's called a flipped classroom, which means that your faculty are going to rely and expect, because this is the student engagement piece in their own learning, is that materials will be provided before, let's say, a lecture or a lesson. And it's expected that students will review those materials so that when you come together with your faculty, it isn't a lecture. Because I could say from experience too, I don't want somebody talking at me for 40 minutes. I want it to be more engaging, more involved and whatnot. But it does take some student responsibility on that end too, that they're doing that proper preparation at the front end so they can have these enriching conversations and discussions with faculty member and their classmates when they come to class together. So I do think that it's forced us to rethink how we teach and how material is delivered in the post-secondary sector, and I think that's a good thing. The second thing I'm going to talk just very quickly about is the online piece. That yes, maybe that's not what we signed up for, and that there may be some challenges that students face, but I think I could tell you with tremendous certainty that this idea of communicating and connecting with people online is not going to go away. So this semester will provide an excellent opportunity for you to hone those skills, build them so that when you want to enter into the business world, I don't mean business as it relates to my program of study, I mean whatever industry that you choose to practice in, that you'll be positioned well in order to move forward with it. My final comment is, and again, I know Sumit always likes when I refer back to my daughters, but my youngest daughter, we had that discussion about whether she was going to go away or not. And I encouraged her to continue her studies because I think that there's an advantage that when she finishes at the end, she may be ahead of a cohort, and that may give her an advantage in the workplace or entering other post-secondary programs because the number of students that will have completed by that point will not be as high. So I think there are some advantages. Is it going to be a little bit uncomfortable? Yes, but that's where learning occurs. We have to be a little uncomfortable for us to grow. And I'll finish just by saying that, well, like Aaron, I don't feel comfortable because I'm not an expert in IT, student services, library services, accessibility, financial aid. What I think I can say very confidently is that these departments have pivoted very well with the challenges that they've faced with COVID-19. I think they've done an exceptional job of still doing and supporting our students with whatever questions they may have. But the key is you need to ask too. You need to be engaged in your own learning. You need to engage the people that can help you so that we can sit back and sit and say, well, here's the options that you do have. So it is very much a symbiotic relationship. Faculty, college, and whatnot, we're committed to your success, but you have to be committed too. You have to be the one that's engaged in your own learning and engaged in your own success. So, and I think you all can do it. And I hope to see you all here in the fall.
Thank you.
Yeah.
So let's go back to Audrey. What I would like to do in order to save some time, I'm going to merge two questions at the same time, and then you can answer it kind of briefly. So the first question was, how do you feel how Northern College has responded to the changes in the delivery classes because of COVID-19? And the second question is, how important or do you have any important information that you would like to share with our future students before they come in or before they start their academic year? So if you can merge both of them, and sorry to put you in that position, but we kind of took a little bit more time than we were supposed to. So if these questions are being answered, it would be.
That's okay. Thank you very much, Sumit, for that opportunity. Those are great questions. We pivoted extremely well, and you've heard the dean say that, how quickly we adapted to what we had to do. We were actually one of the first colleges in the system to roll over and move into the new format, and it's because we already had so much experience with that type of thing. So in that sense, we did very well. It was stressful. I won't kid about that. It was stressful because it was different. It was a sudden change that no one had expected. So having said that, going forward, what do I want people to know is this is a very, very experienced college in dealing with what we're now calling remote learning, not even necessarily distance or online. And everything the deans have said, I echo. We have very, very caring faculty. They always go above and beyond to make sure their students are learning and getting the best education they can. We're a small college. We get to know the people one-on-one, whether they're right in front of us in a room or whether they're from a distance. And I go back to Doug's story about our online class. The first time they actually met each other in law clerk was at the graduation, but they all knew each other really well. And on a personal note as well, I have 4 degrees. 2 of them were done face-to-face traditionally. 2 of them were online. And none of them is better than the other. They were all excellent learning experiences. And to go back to what Doug and Aaron had said as well, it's about what you invest to. And we are here for you. And if you want to invest in us, I guarantee you won't be disappointed.
Thank you. So most of the questions were answered while the deans were talking. But Kara, do you have any question that was not answered? Maybe we can take 1 or 2 at the max at this point.
I have a lot of questions. I tried my best to organize here. So let me just, one of the main questions I kept getting was about tests and quizzes. Are those also going to be online as well, the examinations?
Any one of you can answer that.
Yeah, whoever wants to answer. They're all nodding. Yeah. I would go with yes.
Okay. Any other important questions that you feel like?
Yeah. Also, Doreen had a question about co-op placements. What is the status of if there's a placement component to the program? How does that work?
That will depend very much on the industry that we're working with and whether those placements are allowed. Right now, some industries absolutely, because they are considered essential workers and they know that our students are their future workforce. In others, not so much because they're not deemed to be essential, so they're not necessarily as open for business. They don't have the place to put a student. So it depends very much by industry.
Okay.
As the college sector goes too, just to note that some of the professional associations, let's say for ECEs and social service workers, the college system as a whole is negotiating with them for some alternatives to placements if we're not able to accommodate face-to-face placements, let's say in upcoming semesters. And these are ongoing dialogues about capstone projects and other ways for students to acquire that experiential learning piece other than going to placement. So I encourage students to continue to ask that question, and it will be an ongoing discussion with each department.
Okay, I have, perfect, thank you. A few more questions here. Just about programs extending past May. Is that something that may be happening? No?
Kara, so we have some programs that extend into May.
Okay.
For example, mining engineering. Winter starts, obviously, programs that start in January would typically run all the way through to the end of August. So I'm not sure if that's what that question responds to or not. Going past May, at this point, obviously, we would hope to not have to do that. But I think we have to recognize that this is a dynamic situation we're in with the pandemic. And we don't really know if something else would prevent us from continuing studies all the way through, or if something might disrupt that. Then we would certainly look at an extension into May and possibly June if need be. But certainly at this point in time, I hope I'm not sort of speaking out of turn for the rest of the deans, but I would assume that we're not planning on going into May, as a general rule, right?
Okay, perfect. I just have one last question. This was just about materials, course materials, and typically, for students that access those materials through our bookstore, how can they get their textbooks and materials?
I can answer on that part because I spoke with bookstore yesterday about it, and they said that what they have to do is when they have the list of the books that are being needed, they can either call or email at the bookstore over here in Timmins campus or any of the campus that they are located at. And then there will be an online payment structure and it will be delivered to them at their place. It would be mailed. However, the mail is a little bit slower right now, so it might take a little bit more than regular time, but they will for sure get the books there. So I think most of the questions are being answered. We are 2 minutes over time, but we'll close the webinar now. So thank you, everyone. Audrey has already been left because she had another appointment right away after this meeting. So thank you, deans. It was really very helpful. Most of the questions were being answered. There was so many information that was being given out today. We hope that this is not an end of the dialogue. This is start of the dialogue. So we will share some information from you. We'll share some email addresses that you can ask the questions if you are not able to get the questions right now. And if you feel like maybe this will, the question comes up tomorrow, you can still email us. It's not that it's just one-time thing. The other thing is you can always book an online appointment between me and Kara. We have that tool on our website that you can use. We use FaceTime, Zoom, Teams, however you want it. We have most of the resources.
You can do it.
We will accommodate that. And make sure to attend next week's webinar from 1 to 2 again, and on next Wednesday. Kara will be hosting, I'll be co-host. So she'll be the talker, I'll be on the back end. So it's better time than this one. So thank you very much. Have a good one.
Thank you, everyone. See you next week. Bye.
Bye, everyone.